Hey everybody. I'm back with the video that I announced. Um, Shame and anxiety, the root and fruit of narcissistic psychopathy. So, shame is the root and fruit of narcissism. Um, the narcissist experienced huge amounts of shame as a child because he did not get the unconditional love from the parents, and it is too much for an infant to understand this and understand that he or she is worth of unconditional love, even if it does not receive it. And thus, it has to idealize the parents still. So the parent is the good object, the mother is the good object in this case, most of the times. So the child must be the bad object then, which confronts it with unbearable shame. It must be so bad that this ideal, perfect, godlike person, that is mother, does not like the child. So it must be shame. The child must be full of shame because it can't understand. This is the only way to cope with this. So, in other words, the child feels the shame that mother is supposed to feel. But if the mother is a narcissist, she can't feel shame. She represses shame. So the child feels the shame, and this creates a high risk of becoming narcissistic. This is the root of narcissism. As a primitive defense reaction, the child then creates the false self, the grandiose self image, um, and represses shame. In other words, it is so much shame that it is being repressed in subconsciousness, and from this time on, the child cannot feel shame in some way anymore or express it authentically, yet it will continuously stay a constant topic in life because if you repress something, you project it on others. And the next level of projection is um, projective identification, which basically means you treat other people you have such a strong delusion of seeing your own mistakes or shortcomings or subconscious condition in other people that triggers you so much that you treat them as if they would treat you the way that you are convinced the person is and the person treats you, and then evoking in you really so this is really scary. It means through projective identification a person can evoke the same reactions and emotions as if this person really would be that way. In other ways, is almost as if a traumatized person like a narcissist can make another person act, or yeah, act as if they have a similar trauma. Or yeah, it's as if the narcissist creates a narcissistic image in another person that the narcissist predicts, and then um, it's almost a form of projected self-hate. So the narcissist represses the self-hate, the shame, and he then sees it in another person, and as a reaction, the other person will treat the narcissist that way. So um, it's crazy. This is the next level of projection, projective identification. And in a similar way, psychopathy is the compensatory mechanism for intense amounts of anxiety. So there are different types of psychopaths, type 1 and type 2, and one of them can actually experiences consciously high levels of anxiety, and the other one does experience no anxiety. So they have the psychopathic boldness. Um, and this is also why narcissists can overlap with antisocial personality disorder, with psychopathy, because when you have this condition of that I described of a false self, a grandiose self, repressed shame, um, you will become, or the narcissist will become a host of all kinds of introjected personalities and has a lot of cognitive dissonance because of good and bad objects, different voices within themselves, the splitting mechanism that makes them see everything as all good or all bad. You know, it is idealized or devalued. So they don't ever see reality as it is, as a mixture of all the colors of uh, yeah, a rainbow. A person is a mix of good and bad, but they see a person either as idealized and they internalize the person as an object. So the narcissist could not idealize another person. I mean, this would be honest admiring another person. A narcissist can't do this. They would become suicidal because they would have such a strong envy on this person. This is why they idealize the other person as an introjected object in themselves, which is weird, but this is how narcissists act. So if a narcissist idealizes you, I say you should learn to refuse any kind of idealization, because what it means is the narcissist simply satisfies his own sense of grandiosity because he sees you as a part of him. And this is just the beginning. At some point, he will start to hate you and he needs to get rid of you, which means they will then ghost and stonewall you, because at some point they want to use this introject as their own part of identity, and the original that you are is a disturbance for this delusion. Okay, all right. Um, so we now understand that the root of these mental conditions are shame and anxiety. Of course, there are also psychopaths who have a strong genetic determination to become that, but if they are created, it comes from enduring a lot of pain, shame, anxiety, and this means they will bring this forth over and over because they are stuck in this disturbed cycle of individuation from the parents, and they recreate this circle like a vinyl or a cassette that is, stuck on the same circle and can't go on repeat. It's on repeat because it wants to individuate, it wants to become whole, it wants to go on, but it has been disturbed, and that's why it's stuck in this circle. And this means it brings forth this. So as you see, the parent created the shame, the anxiety, the trauma on the child. The child then recreates because it repressed it, or it feels strong levels of it, which both means the child or the person then, the growing body, has this as an ongoing topic in their life that repeats over and over and over again. And it can't bear it, so it projects it by projective identification, which means it's a circle of pain that repeats over and over and over and over again. It is a recurring pattern of destructive narcissism, all right? And you also need to understand in the worst cases of narcissism, these people belong to the dark triad, okay? Or dark tetrade, which means they also make secondary supply. So if they can't get um, the idealization, or in they can't get primary supply from you if you're not the if you refuse to be idealized, if you have healthy boundaries and so on, they can turn you into secondary supply, which is sadistic supply. They can use coercive control patterns, and they will have joy, sexual arousal, just by seeing strong emotions in you, just by making you suffer, making you second guess yourself. And so they will extract something from you through making you a secondary supply. So if you don't give them the positive emotion, they also thrive on the negative side. And they are they are also sadomasochistic, some of them, which means they like to give you the pain. This will give them this sadistic smile. I have seen in the face of a person with a sadistic smile several times, not only one person. And the dark eyes of them that turn black then. And they are also masochistic, which means when some of them, the greatest thing for them, I think, would be that you start abusing them reactively. This would be the greatest joy for them. If you become violent, okay? So they are masochistic. They take anything from you. If you would love them, if you would become intimate with them, they would also be scared of that because they can't be intimate with anyone. So, but they would use you, your body, to satisfy themselves. If they can't get that, they enjoy creating pain in your life or chaos. And they will also enjoy you trying to do the same in their life, abusing them. And yeah. And this is another form of projective identification because they have these intense, dysregulated emotions of anger and temper tantrum and hate, which is basically self hate. But they see it in you, they project it on you. And it would be great, it would absolutely be great for them if you would do them the favor to live this out towards them, because then their hyper competitive nature would finally see, you know, the hyper competitive nature of them understood they can't win over you in a fair comparison or anything, but then at least you would be on their level or maybe even lower, and this would make them grandiose again. You understand me? Yes, I didn't make this up. It's too weird to make it up. It's experience and education. Thanks, thanks to Sam Wagnin and Richard Grannon, I came to understand why the people treated me the way they treated me, um, and how to create boundaries and how to deal with these, or at least understand them. Okay, I mean, how do you deal with something like that, right? It's the shit problem. Shit always sticks. If you act with it in any way, it's always negative. So this is a dark tetrade personality. No matter how you deal with them, it's always negative. Okay, you give them anything and they like it. You love them, they love it, but they start to hate you if you love them. If you hate them, they like it because they are masochistic. If you are suffering from them, they like it because they are sadistic. So this is the definition of a predatory parasite, and this is the definition of why um, narcissistic psychopathy is the root and fruit of shame and anxiety, because this is the circle is this is the energy they send in the world, and this is the energy that comes back to them. So this is the idea of them, okay? So stay away from that. That was a mouthful, right?